Welcome one and all. I love science, may not be a witch, but here I am. I'm the science witch. Sorry about the shaky table. I'm in my kitchen right now, or the kitchen at my mom's house, and I'm recording this now because I am having major thoughts going on inside my head, and I'm gonna record them, possibly post them as like a theory thing, but I'm fucking talking about Star Wars. I'm sorry, I know people who don't like Star Wars are probably sick of it by now, but I'm not, so hang in there with me. So if the table is really shaky, oh geez, that's bad. So I know the table's shaky, and if it's really shaky, I'm really sorry, but I'll try not to hit the table as often. The question is, who are Rey's parents? The main three arguments, or the main three theories for this is Luke, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I realize now that the actual theory is that Obi-Wan is her grandfather, not her father, so I'm sorry for making that mistake.
Or Han and Leia. I am 150,000% sure it's Han and Leia. And I'm gonna get into my reasoning, but I'm going to get into my reasoning as to why it can't be Obi-Wan or Luke. Okay? Now, this is something I had learned from my dad, who's been a Star Wars fan since the first movies came out, since the first movies came out. Finn used the lightsaber, but he didn't know the Force, so doesn't have the Force, so why, I guess you don't need to have the Force to be able to wield the lightsaber, but anyway. What separates a Jedi from a regular person is their mind state. Everything has to do with their mind state and their... Ooh, my fish sticks are done. 1 minute. Okay, so basically what I am saying is chronologically, for it to be Obi-Wan, it's not possible. Because when you think about it, Obi-Wan was killed when in, God, which one was it? I forget which movie, but Obi-Wan gets killed. Since I don't remember that, I'm very sorry. I feel like it was A New Hope, but I'm pretty sure that, no, he did die in A New Hope, didn't he? Because then he sent Luke to Yoda to master the Force, right? I think that's it. Didn't Luke fight with a green lightsaber, though? But never mind. Anyway, Obi-Wan dies, alright? And when he dies, it is way too early for Rey to have even been born. Now, I am pretty much sure that it was confirmed that Rey is 19 as opposed to Kylo Ren or Ben, who is 23, I think it was. So, 4 years apart, blah, 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 but that significance will come in later. So, like I said, I don't think Obi-Wan could be her father because, one, it would have corrupted him like it corrupted Anakin. And I don't think he'd want to make that mistake. And again, I'll get into this. Two, chronologically, I think he was too old. I know people in their 50s or 60s can still have kids, but it's highly unlikely, and there was no other inclination of any kind of relationship or possible kids to be had by him. And one of the main arguments a few of my friends have been bringing up who support this theory is Rey's accent. I'm sorry, but I don't think Rey's accent has anything to do with it. They're saying, oh, this is a specific detail, it has to mean something. I don't think it means anything. I think it just has something to do with the actress, because she has an accent too. It may not be as heavy, but I don't think the accent matters. That's just me, and all of the Skywalkers are American and whatever, but Rey is not necessarily, in Star Wars, there is no American, there is no British, there is no whatever accent she had, there's just, it's not specified. So, I don't think her accent would have much to do with anything. But that's just me, and I probably should have mentioned this at the beginning of the thing. This is just me discussing my theories and my arguments against certain theories. I'm not trying to open up a huge argument or anything. I'm not trying to bash on any theories. I am just providing my views and my evidence behind why these wouldn't work or why these would work. I'm open to any clarifications, or if I get something wrong, feel free to correct me. But please, I don't want people yelling at me in the comments. Furthermore, I'm just discussing theories because I have a lot of emotions on this. Basically, one of the things that is noted that to have corrupted Anakin towards the dark side, besides the influence from Palpatine, was Padme. And I know what you're thinking. What? Padme had nothing to do with anything. What are you talking about? He fell in love. He fell in love. He had children.
She also died. So that probably had a part too. Forgot to mention that.
Corrupted him. Simple as that. A priest can't be a priest if they get married and have kids, depending on your religion. My priest is married and has kids, but I'm Russian Orthodox, not Catholic, so I think it's a little different. But anyway, that's what corrupted Anakin. That is part of what corrupted Anakin. And again, this was stuff that my dad told me about, which I didn't realize until he had told me, and it makes perfect sense. So, Anakin was corrupted by love and falling for Padme, and he let himself become vulnerable. And that's when the dark side took him in. A Jedi's soul and mind is a force. It can't be broken into unless it's corrupted. So, again, that's my reasoning for Anakin being corrupt. And my further reasoning as to why Luke and Obi-Wan could not be her parents, her father. Because if Luke or Obi-Wan had a kid, had gotten married, had kids, or just had a kid somehow, they would have been corrupted. Not necessarily go to the dark side, but the Force might have been weakened in a way. I don't know, this is just what I think would happen, but I'm not 100% sure. I think if this sort of thing followed in the same footsteps, they would have been easily corrupted as well. But, after Vader died, things kind of died off for a while, till the First Order rose up and everything. I think that's how it goes. Again, I have very shitty memory, so if I fuck things up, please tell me in the comments, and I will try to revise myself in a reply. That leaves me to my final piece, which is why I believe Han and Leia are her parents. 1. In Extended Universe, which before you put stuff in the comments, I know Disney is not counting any of the Extended Universe things. Okay, I understand that, I know that, but that doesn't mean they couldn't have taken things from it, but they just don't believe it's canon. Han and Leia are known to have had more than one child, at least in the Extended Universe, and I can't imagine them not having more than one child. I can't imagine Kylo Ren or Ben being their only child. So, my assumption is that Luke had taken Ben when he was very young to train him for the Force. Say, around the age of, 3 or 4. Infant, basically. I mean, you gotta start him young, right? The class of Jedi that Anakin slaughtered, they were all relatively young kids. So, but, that might be a little too young to take Ben, but it's a possibility. So, when he was taken, Leia was pregnant with Rey. When Ben was sort of corrupted and started siding more with the dark side, I know he hadn't fully picked a side until you know what happened. But when he did start to turn more and abandon Luke and everything, when Han and Leia found out, they knew they had to hide Rey. Because they were worried about Ben finding out about her, and the First Order finding out about her, and trying to bring her to the dark side as well. Also because they didn't want her to get tied up in everything that was going to happen because of Ben shifting sides. So they went and they left her on Jakku. Seemed very irresponsible as parents, but Jakku is a very, very desolate, kind of shammy, shit-ish place. It's just really run down. It's got a lot of thieves and marketers and black marketers or something like that. But it's a very desolate, very out-of-the-way place. Although that seems like a very irresponsible thing to do, I feel like they left Rey there because of that. I mean, how she was left there as an infant or a baby, who took care of her, I have no idea. But that's just not coming to mind. I watched the movie like 3 weeks ago, so my knowledge on it is a little bit, it's not as good as it would have been the day after I watched the movie. I'm gonna go get my dinner, and you guys are gonna eat dinner with me. Boop. So I was talking about how when she was dropped off Jakku, how that could be irresponsible. That could be, like, why would they just leave her there? I don't think Leia would do that, but regardless. Next, Rey's natural ability to fly the Millennium Falcon. I mean, come on. Who else could fly the Millennium Falcon that good? I mean, obviously better, but that good. Han Solo. How could Rey, even though she's never flown anything before, I don't remember, but she was still able to fly the Millennium Falcon the way she did with Finn in it, and that was remarkable. That was phenomenal. How could she have done that? Exactly. It's in her blood. That's sort of like a little thing that goes along with it, but not too important, but it's just something that I think should be noted. After that, her attitude and her slight resemblance. Rey is very abrasive in a way and very ready to take charge. She did that several times in the movie, which shows how she's both like Han and Leia, because they're both very good at improving situations, like, garbage chute and everything like that. The whole coming up with the garbage chute, shooting Leia, taking the gun from, is it Luke? And shooting. They're both very take charge people, so is Rey. She was the one who started running, or no, I think Finn started running. Scratch that. But their attitudes, Rey can sort of be a bit sarcastic a lot, like Han, and I mean Leia too, obviously. But they all share that sort of thing. And I really liked that about it. But despite that, again, just a small thing I noticed, but off to more significant things. Oh, actually, never mind. One more small thing. The way Leia hugged her after she realized Han was dead. Spoiler alert if you didn't know that already. If you didn't know that already, I don't know why you're watching this video, but just figured I should warn you. Han Solo dies. I said it. Sue me! Han dies, They get back. Rey's crying because she had really warmed up to Han Solo and sort of seen him like a father figure when she had met him and he offered her a job. Also, like, why else would he offer her a job to some random person? Why would he be nice to her all of a sudden? He knew! But anyway, Leia didn't even know who Rey was, basically. She sort of knew her, not really, but when she saw her, she went right over and hugged her. Like, I know that could just be like a sympathy for like seeing her cry, being like, that was my husband, I know. And I totally can understand that, but I think it was a little something more because she didn't really know who she was, and Leia sort of just kind of like figured like, this is our daughter, this is the one we left behind. And I don't know, I feel like that was slightly important, but also could be really overlooked and also mean absolutely nothing. Next, more significant things. Why didn't Kylo Ren torture her like he did with Poe? They had captured Poe. He was tortured, came back sort of like bloody-headed and whatever, but because they were trying to get information about the map from him. This time, when Rey was captured, he sat there and waited for her to wake up. He revealed his true face to her to gain her trust. So, why would he just sit there and wait? Why wouldn't he snap her away to try and get stuff instantly from her? Because he was figuring things out. He felt it. Just like how Leia and Luke could feel each other. Could feel each other's presence and everything. Like how Leia knew Luke was alive and that Luke was okay. Because she just felt it. It's the sibling thing. It's the Force siblings. And just that whole Force siblings thing is a thing in itself. The now rivalry cliche between Ren and Rey, if they are siblings, you got your sibling rivalry between good and evil. That's so cliche and that's so Disney. But again, that's another point. Not really too significant and not confirmed, but it's a possibility and I think it's highly likely. Anyway, as I was saying about, what the fuck was I saying something about? Yeah, he didn't torture her. He revealed who he was. He was very, very calm, and I think it was because he was realizing that she was his sister. Like, there had to be a reason he treated her the way he did. He treated her very kindly for someone who's little emo punk child, as everyone's now taken him to be, which I love. And I don't think old Ben is too much of a softie because he killed his own father. I mean, he always hated Han Solo, which could be why, but, you know, why not? So I'm just thinking of last names. They all sound pretty good. Rey Kenobi, Rey Skywalker, or Rey Solo. They all sound pretty cool, so name-wise I'd be happy with either or, but anyways, there's also the fight between Rey and Kylo Ren in the forest. Now this is a huge metaphor that I caught that not a lot of my friends caught. My mom and I caught it, and I had to explain it to a lot of other people, but when fighting and when the ground split between Rey and Ben, why do I keep going back between Kylo Ren and Ben? But when the ground split between the two of them, that was the set divide between the sides. And you obviously were going to know that Rey was going to be good and he was going to be evil and blah, blah, blah. But this set it in stone, or like set it in earth, if you know what I mean. And solidified it. And that also is basically when she like picked up her powers and everything and cut him in the face. But prior to that scene, to that metaphor, stop! I need to shut off my ringer. Prior to that, Rey and him were fighting, but Ren, Ben, Kylo, whatever the fuck you want me to call him, was trying to convince Rey to let him teach her. To let him be her mentor. And train her to be one with the dark side. And I don't think he would have done that for anyone else. I don't think he would have done that for someone like Finn. Maybe he just saw potential in her and knew she could use the Force. But I think it's because he has a family member now that he can start anew with. Or someone who he can have by his side. And someone to teach. He was spent the entire time trying to convince her. And I think for a second she considered it. But him trying to convince her could have been a fact about why he could be because he realized they were siblings. He felt something about them being siblings. And I strongly believe that. I believe that he was trying to get her to join him, not only because of her potential, but because of her relation to him. But, again, that's just me. Oh, the lightsaber thing. And that's a huge thing for people who believe that Obi-Wan or Luke are her father. I still say it's that she's Han and Leia's because of Leia's relation to Luke, obviously, which is why the lightsaber called out to her, because of blood relation. Kenobi. Although Ben Kenobi had, I believe, given the lightsaber to Luke, so the lightsaber was originally his, the lightsaber is considered Luke's. That kind of cuts out the whole Luke or Obi-Wan thing with the lightsaber calling out to her being why. Also, well, I basically already said it. The reason why the lightsaber came to her is not because Luke is her father, not because Ben is her father. It's because she's still a Skywalker by blood if she is Han and Leia's. So Luke's lightsaber naturally would go down to the next Jedi of the family, which is not Leia. Well, it wouldn't even be Leia because she's not the next one. But Rey, his niece. God, that's so weird to think of her niece. His niece. It's weird. And then, again, not Ben, because Ben gave the lightsaber to Luke after he died. Blah, blah, blah. At least I think that's what happened. I have not seen the movies in a really long time. So the lightsaber calls out to Rey, because she is the next in line to inherit the Jedi ability. And I firmly stick by this. I don't remember all the points I covered, so I'm not going to summarize it all, because I'm going to miss something and people are going to point it out. So I think this is it, guys. This is my theory on Rey and who her parents are, who, again, I firmly stick by her being Han and Leia's. Let's end it off here. Thank you guys so much for taking your time to watch this video. If you enjoyed what you saw, take a stab at that like button to let me know. And I hope to see each and every one of you sometime in the very near future. Take care of yourselves, everyone. And may the Force be with you. Bye!